Welcome to the bold analysis. I have been very categorical that our elders needed to put or join the push to put the administration on check. And today I was sampling some video, I was listening to a video clip by Pastor T. Mwangi. And it was very interesting to me because that video clip that I wanted to watch to the end was actually showing what exactly is, what will be a pending danger in terms of how the church is carrying themselves around the current administration. And I want you to listen to this. I want to just take a minute to listen to this because this gentleman is talking about something that really touches on a topic that I've discussed here many times. I even discussed it recently. So listen to Pastor Tim Mwangi and you will get to also just give your own judgment in terms of the true position.
The same song we are singing, we sang 10 years ago. Si uchawi ni maombi. That song is very sensitive. And this is what I heard the Lord tell me. When you have a church member that you pray for and he becomes a manager, it does not mean the church has become the manager. It is the man. So when the man messes up, the church that prayed for him must grow and deal with him. When David was anointed, we'll come to that. Now this one I'm giving direction to the nation. When David was anointed, he was a king, but in God, he was the son of God. When David slept with Bathsheba, God never saw a king, God saw his son. And he sent a prophet not to correct the king, but to correct the son. So the church should not feel like they're the ones who have entered State House. We need to stand in prayer and say we prayed, God spoke, and he has entered. Now we need to pray. So if there is trouble, we can speak. Have you never asked yourself, some of the biggest religions or biggest Christian bodies have produced kings in Kenya? But they have never looked like they're the ones who entered State House. Catholic Church has produced Kibaki and Uhuru. I want to tell you, there was a vaccination going down. The same Catholic Church criticized the government for that vaccination. Yet the president used to take Holy Communion in State House, served by a father. But that never made the church to be quiet because a man from their congregation has taken power. So it is time for the church to pray and arise and cover every leader. All of them, even those that are in opposition. And after prayer, retreat and pray and understand a son has entered. He's the president. When he messes up, you correct the son to fix the presidency. Otherwise, what will follow is and there is no perfect government. If they fail, the church and the government will be crucified and the door of atheism will open. And you'll say you're a believer and people will say, which one? So that's why we need to pray. That number 13 is not very good. Now, listen, I'm not speaking politically. We are here for 5 years. We are here to watch and pray. This is our nation. We can't go to America. We can't go to America. We can't go to Saudi Arabia. Our greener pastor.
There is something that Pastor Tia said there, and it's an echo of what I had been speaking here for some time. And he is saying that when church conforms with the administration, and so when things don't go on right, those who church will be blamed by alongside the administration. And so, because they cannot offer direction, they cannot offer alternative, or they cannot point when the administration is wrong, he's saying that we are going to come up with a crop of non-believers. I know when I sampled through comment section, many people have castigated the church, saying that to some extent they have let the people of Kenya down because they've not been beat, they've not been playing the role that men would expect. Now, I want to tell you something, that we've seen the way the men of the clergy are idolizing presidency, and it has gotten to a point where and the political class have decided to do it very good too. When they are before them, they try to be very submissive. But then, there, even in those places, the men of the clergy are so much idolizing the president. Now, if I want to tell you something is a problem with our society, I want to show you some very interesting, some not interesting, but very, I don't know how to describe it, some two clips that have really been disturbing on how people are idolizing some two men. I want you to get it, and it's a very, look at this here.
Meet the real Jesus Christ, a man who speaks to God directly.
Mungu wa amani awainue na kuwabariki wote. Amina. Yesu milele na milele.
Ninaamini kabisa huyu ni Yesu, anaponya na anatenda.
He is the owner of this church, and these 12 men you see here are his disciples.
Mchinzi umeuliza, ni wewe yule Yesu ama ni mwingine? Ni mimi yule Yesu Kristo, ni mimi.
Profiling, not between profiling. That church is from Western. Then, there is this one here. I don't know from which part. Look at this. Look at this one. Okay, what's happening there? That's not a human being. That's some plastic sculpture that has been made. That's not a human being pulled. You cannot pull a human being of that weight from here without much of that tussle. There's no better way. There is no other way it can be done. So that was something that has been created, and you see that level of those. In fact, the last two clips, I tried to connect them with what the gentleman is saying there, that what Pastor T is saying there. We seems to the society is simply not getting it right, and the issue of religion is day by day giving us a different narrative. Now, I was talking to a man of God, and I'll try to get one man of God to maybe help us talk about this deeply. And I tried to ask him, what is bringing this into the society? And he gave me a response that the people are desperate, because what is happening here is the political leadership, or what the leaders that are supposed to cater for the people, have neglected them. And so, because of that level of desperation coupled with poverty and a lot of it that comes into it, we've gotten ourselves into very bad scenarios where people just want to believe. And in fact, for a level where Kenyans have decided, not Kenyans, but where the population is picking individuals to idolize as God, tells you that they have lost hope on a couple of things. So this should be a very worrying thing, because religion is simply getting abused here. I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong, but there is another clip that I want to play for you, and it's a clip of a gentleman speaking about prophecies, and he's saying that, I think I can get it somehow. He's saying that you don't need to do prophecies to believe in prophecies, you must work hard, you must have a service or a good. Now, this is what it's talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak about this outright and say we've gotten to a level of idolizing, and this issue of idolizing human beings is simply getting out. It's simply getting out of hand. You know, a good Pastor Nathan. Yes, Pastor Nathan is from Kiambu. He was telling me that, Kevin, do you know that there are people that because of when president is in charge, the clergy, some get confused until instead of praying referring to God, they keep on referring to His Excellency. That level of idolatry. And it has been institutionalized by the way the giving, that we want, give us that, and you get it. And now the men of the cloth are getting real answers. They want to construct the church, ama kuweka plaster, they get real money there, and then they say God has brought it. But then instead of giving the glory to God, they give glory to man. So something is simply not adding up. I know this might not be more of a political thing, but I just wanted to speak about it because it touches into the lives of people. Now, we will lose the strong fabric of the church. Church was what was holding the society together. I was talking to a friend in Mount Kenya, who was telling me, Kevin, the reason why Kenya Kwanza decided to perfect cement their strong relationship with the Mount Kenya Church was because these women have gone through a lot of problems. Number one is the fabric, the fact that you realize some descendants of people like Mau Mau, because Mount Kenya was the hub of epicenter of the Mau Mau freedom. So these descendants who do not go back to God, the curse of the blood is still there, and many people, things are not working on good. And again, because of that, there seems to be a letdown in terms of there are many single mothers there. So what they have decided to do is that where they get counsel, where they get the support, and listening ear to them are actually the churches. That's why they have a very strong link, and they were that was technically used for them. So, but with the time, we seems to be losing it. That it's not, and that is what Pastor T was saying, that if we go this way, when things don't go on right, the population will blame the church and the politicians. And with church and politicians or government being in the same category, the one that loses its sanctity is the church. Secondly, we seem to be dropping pertinent issues that I don't want to call it idolatry or idolizing the rulers of the land makes us become a bit of, we sanitize everything, we can't ask questions, and we leave pertinent issues of governance because there is a way the word of God wants the society to, and the society needs to be straight. But then you will see the team or the clergy team may not talk about reforms. That will be left for the journalists, for the analysts, and non-governmental institutions, and so, and it will remain like that. But then in church, people will talk mostly about what is of them. Lastly, I read this. We are creating a compromised, manipulative layer in our politics. It's compromised and it's manipulative. Why are we speaking about it? We are creating a layer where we have people, for example, the clips, those two clips I've played to you. The women there, they believe that is Jesus. Now, if that man, there, Jesus, will be in a position to command 1 million following in this country, then what will the politician need to do? The politician will just need to go to embrace that man. Embrace that Jesus, in quotes, there Jesus, and you get the following of the 1 million people behind him. Because the religion following is very honest, and is straight and is unquestionable. If he has already said, he has already called that man Jesus, tell me, what do you think they can go against what their Jesus says? You understand it? So that's what I've actually gathered, that when we go this route, we are creating a layer that rulers will use to cover all the other things, and instead of track record, what I have done for the people, that road and this, you will successfully go to the men of cloth, and because they have been idolized, you go after them, you grab one or two, and with that following, you do your power. You have seen politicians attending big religious gatherings. It's because they're after the masses. So that's my take. I don't know what you think. This was a bit of a mixture of politics and religion, and this is a discussion I can tell you we're going to have in this country for quite some time, because that's where we are. And if you don't talk about it, maybe we also be doing a disservice to ourselves.